everybody to Eye of the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. So this is one, I guess it's a topic that I do every once in a while because I kind of find it fun, and also because the concept of tarot as a fortune telling medium, or any of the kind of different modalities you can use for fortune, is something that's kind of in my blood. Or it's probably because of the fact that I'm old, so I'm old school. So when I first came across tarot and things like that, it was very much seen as a fortune telling modality. I know that it's more broadly now, and I use it often around spiritual development and personal development and all of those things, and it does do that. And so do many of the different sort of ways that one can do divination. But divination is still a really core part of it, and something that I really cherish from my very early days learning all of this and being part of it. So every once in a while, I like the concept of recreating, if I can, through the pick a card format, the experience of going to a fortune teller. And one of the things that made me think, oh, this is the time to do another one, is I just recently bought, and I'll just show you the lovely bag that it came in, a set of what are called telltale tokens. You'll see, as with all that I use, down in the description box, the details are there if you're interested. As I often say, I have no affiliation with any of the creators that I list there, and the decks and other things that I use. I just like to promote them if I use them in case anybody's interested. But they're a really great sort of set of tokens that have images that help tell the narrative, help bring out extra information. And I thought, I really want to use them. And I thought, why not do another fortune telling one? So that's what we're doing. The other thing is, you can see the crystal ball here. So I want to do a shout out to Vinit at Tarot Yogi. I've actually collaborated with him. He's lovely, brilliant reader. He's recently been doing spectacular readings, sort of pick a card, but it's not really a card, readings, pick a pile, whatever you want to call it, using the crystal ball, and he's a natural at it. So I highly recommend going and seeing him. And it just inspired me to kind of make this less of something that just sits there on the table while I do this. And I'm just going to do it a bit, because I'm going to use the tokens, I'm going to use that, I'm going to use some astrology dice, I'm going to use Lenormand, different sorts of things that can be done for divination, just to sort of round out this experience. And obviously tarot as well. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. To help choose your pile, or piles, if you want to go to more than one, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm using the Revisa Way of the Witches deck, because I wanted if I could, to ask you, when you are trying to choose your pile, if you don't automatically always go to one, and when you're in this sort of experience, kind of imagine as a whole, use all your senses to imagine it. Imagine going into a very dark room, and there's sort of crystals on the table, and there's maybe incense in the air, and there's this sort of sense of you're coming into a kind of a sacred and witchy and strange space. Like, all of that will help with the energy around this. And I thought that the Revisa Way of the Witches deck is a beautiful entry point. And I've got a couple of fortune cards under that as well. I don't know what they are. So it's kind of like almost to build the doorway, the entrance into the inner sanctuary where you're going to meet your fortune teller. So maybe these images or concepts will draw you. So for pile number one, I got manifest. So it may be, if you would be particularly going to a fortune teller about something you wanted to manifest, that may draw you. For the second pile, we have rain. There could be a clearing energy, an emotional energy. And for the third pile, we got the intriguing intoxication. So this could be around a person, a relationship, an experience, a spiritual sort of growth, development experience, whatever it might be. You do you, of course, as I always say, in choosing whether you want to go to one or more piles. When you know that, the timing, as always, is in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome, pile one, to your reading. So as you go through the doorway to the fortune teller, this is the energy that is first in the room, that you first connect to, and that the fortune teller connects to you. So you chose manifest. So it could have been for the concept of manifestation. You may be going into the fortune teller. Your fortune may be very much around something you are now going to manifest, something that you want to bring into being, something that you want to visualize, envision, and use all your skills and abilities to create, whatever it might be. Or it may be that the imagery of this drew you, the sense of a very centered, still person, very much in the moment and able to work with time and with energy in a very calm way to bring something into being. And so it may be that you are looking for validation around the path that you are on, or if not validation, maybe just more information than only you can receive as one sort of receiving energy. But what I will definitely say when we have the seer, follow your intuition, and the hourglass, time is of the essence, two things immediately strike the fortune teller when you come in. I hear the fortune teller saying to you, welcome brother or welcome sister, depending upon what gender you identify with and so forth, because they see one of their own kind. So you in and of yourself, you are also a fortune teller. But what is probably the case here, there is only so much that we can receive ourselves. We then also need to see others. And often it is about the things that we feel a little bit too close to, like the timing of something precious that we want to manifest, or even a validation of what we have seen. Because you are a seer, you're a fortune teller, and ultimately someone who is very, very good around timing. There are different sort of abilities that different readers, different fortune tellers, different seers have. You have a pretty good sense, I would say, on the emerging energies and when it is the time to do something. But I feel like for you, you go to this and you come to these readings, not to find out something you don't know, but to have something confirmed that you do, or to fill in maybe pieces of a jigsaw that you know, no matter how powerful and talented you are, which you are, you also need others with other talents to actually fill in the pieces of the jigsaw. So this journey to the fortune teller is going to be very much focused on the encapsulation and manifestation of the things that you have seen for yourself, and it will be looking wherever possible at timing. So we will, or if there is an urgency for the fortune teller to tell you there is an urgency around something. Now, the fortune teller says to you that you are one of her kind and you are here for a particular reason, but do not say what that is at this point. Let's see what the cards have to say. We're going to have a look at the immediate influences that are coming in, and this is going to be very important because it is saying time is of the essence, but it's also looking at the longer term impacts. What is this building to? And then we're going to look at what is unconscious that you don't see. And this is perhaps the really core reason that you come to a fortune teller. But she says, or he says, we need to actually build this up before going forward. And sorry if you can hear that noise outside. I'm not sure if the microphone's picking it up, but somebody sort of put a ladder up to go up on the roof. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. Anyway, let's see what tarot has to say. So the fortune teller says, let's see the immediate energies that are in your fortune at the moment that you've come to hear about. The World, the Four of Pentacles reversed, the Queen of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Four of Cups. Okay, the fortune teller says to you, you are indeed very close to the culmination of something. In fact, if anything, the reason the time is of the essence and the reason you've been drawn to go to a fortune teller, and this is your own seer-like abilities knowing it's time to do this, is that there is a bit of a risk, she says right now, that you complete something before it's ready. And as a result of that, you may get less than you are wanting to get. So this is the feeling that I had, or the image that I had around you may go to a fortune teller because you have certain pieces of the jigsaw and then there are others that have the other pieces, is exactly what she's talking about. She will be saying, or he will be saying, I feel like it's a she for some reason here, so bear with me on that, but don't worry about the gender of the fortune teller. I feel like she says that there is something that is not yet there. With the Four of Coins reversed, you have a sense and you know, and the reason that you've come is that something is missing. And she says to you, gently as possible, that one of the issues you have to deal with, because you are a seer, because you are able to manifest, because you do have a good sense of timing, is that you often rely just on yourself. And you're highly self-actualized. You're a very powerful, creative individual. More often than not, your own energy, your own vision is all that is necessary. But she is saying this is not the case. Something about what you are doing at the moment, or what is coming in for you to do, the culmination of something you've been working on for quite a long time, requires another energy, because there's something a little bit missing. It would be a bit like, having a recipe for a cake, but you didn't put the the thing that makes the cake rise. I'm not a cook, but if you just put in flour and a few other ingredients, but you didn't have the thing that made the cake rise, it would not rise and become a cake as such in the oven. So there is something here, she's saying, and you know it, you feel it, and you also feel that there is a risk that you could close out. And she's saying it's not that it would be a huge problem. You could do that, but it would be less than what you wanted. So your own emotional center is knowing this needs something else. This needs another person. Now, this may be someone else as an equal partner, or it just may be someone, it could be something like if you'd written a novel and you want to go and publish it, and you're a good writer and you're used to doing things, you might actually need an editor this time, because there could be just something structurally that needs to be done with it. So it's just an example. But she's saying you've come because you needed to hear this, because you need some other input, and you are so close to closing in on something. And it won't be terrible if you do, but it'll be less than what it could be. There is, in fact, another energy that you're meant to find. And if you were to use your time at the moment and using the time around that, because time is of the essence, it's just saying that probably the time of meeting that person, connecting with that person, identifying that person, the time is now. If you choose not to do that, you can complete this, but you will be less happy with whatever it is. So I think this is unlikely to be about a love relationship, because this looks like it's something that you are very used to doing on your own, but there is a partnership energy, and it's a choice. You do have the choice, but it is about what do you really want this to be. And your own instincts have brought you here around that. So that's the immediate influence. And that is where time is of the essence. What about the longer term impact? She says if you find this person, you find that energy, you work out the missing piece, whatever it is. And as I say, it could be as simple as just somebody looking at something and giving you feedback, right through to a major partner in something. It may actually, I'm just getting, for some of you, it could be that for, and I was saying it wasn't about a relationship, but I'm getting this quite strongly, so I'm going to say it. For some of you, you may have made a determination that you don't need a relationship, that you are whole unto yourself. And in many ways that is true. But there's with the Four of Coins reversed and then the Four of Cups, there is something a little bit missing for you if that's the case. And it may be that something is coming in very, very soon, or has just come in, and you need to consider whether you could incorporate that in your life. But whatever it is, this is saying, although you are very powerful, very creative, very accomplished, you need someone else. At least one other person. I think for most of you it's only one other person, but at least one other person. So what about the longer term fortune? If you take note of this, you get that in whatever level it's meant to be. The longer term fortune coming out of this is Page of Swords reversed, Nine of Cups reversed, Eight of Swords reversed, Four of Swords reversed, Knight of Cups. Okay. So the fortune teller sits back and contemplates you, pole one, because what she or he is saying is that even though this has been said, you will resist it. And this is not meant as a criticism. It is because you are a seer, you're able to do this, you have actually achieved this many times. You are a natural manifester and you are powerful within your own right, and you know it. She sees that the longer term energy right now is you would be resisting this energy. You would be resisting this advice. It's like it's shutting it down. So she would be saying to you, you will not get your full wish if you don't hear this. And she says it may be that what you have to do is have a debate with someone. There may in fact be for some of you someone who is involved in some way and you're not happy with it and you want to complete without their advice. But she is saying that whatever it is in the longer term, if that issue is not dealt with, there will be something that is not quite right in the communication. There will be something that doesn't quite get your wish for you. She says that you need to free yourself to some degree from the sense that only you can do something. You need to connect out with others. And she said, she's trying to be gentle, but she is saying that this is a real risk for you because it is because you're powerful. It's not a risk that happens to someone who doesn't have these abilities and who isn't there. It's a risk that happens once that occurs. And she's saying right now the trajectory is you're going to do that. That's why we had the world at the beginning. You're going to just go forward. You're going to go, no, I don't have time. Time is of the essence. I've got the vision. I'm going to manifest. And she says you can do that, but it's not going to get you your dream in the same way as it would if you connected with someone else. There is something very beautiful in the connection with someone else. And you might also be denying yourself something that has sort of emotional resonance as well if you do it. She's saying that and she's saying, in fact, what will happen is if you do this and you put whatever this is out into the world, you achieve whatever it is that you want, and you realize it isn't your dream. It's almost like you're going to go back to the drawing board and try and work out what went wrong, and then you will reach out to someone else. So she's saying, whether you want it or not, you are at a point now where collaboration, connection is the important thing, and think of yourself as one of among equals, of masters of something. Do whatever you need to do for you to feel comfortable that this is not somehow, it's not a weakness. I think that's what she's trying to say to you. This is not a weakness. We are all parts of a jigsaw rather than the whole jigsaw. And the best thing we can do is to find the other parts. That's part of our strength. So I think this is very much saying and I think it's something that seers and manifestors really do need to deal with on a level that a lot of other people don't, because you are probably used to achieving. You are used to being successful. It doesn't mean everything you ever do is, but I think you are used to that. And she says that's because you have this incredible sense of what's coming, and you have this incredible sense of the timing, and you can manifest and you can go within. You have all these abilities, but it's so encapsulated just in you because you've kind of done it that you almost have a distrust of anything else. But it's not going to make you less, and it's not going to be wrong. What she would say to you, though, is that if you do take the advice, then she's saying you don't have to take everything that is said by this other person. If something does not feel right in the energy for your dream, don't take it. You need to stay liberated in what you think, but you collaborate. A collaborator stays liberated. They don't feel lesser to the person they're collaborating with. They don't feel like they've suddenly taken on the subservient role. That would not be you at all. But she says if you do take it on, you also need to do it with discernment. And so it's not like you give over the keys to the car and then the other person drives forever on. It's how you incorporate that. But I think she would be saying right now, there is a risk that you will not do this. And if that's the case, you almost need to go back to the drawing board about whatever this is to try and re-establish the dream. So this is why time is of the essence. This is the time to do it, Pile 1. So given that, what beyond that is unconscious in all of this for you that needs to be seen? Page of Wands, Two of Swords. Let's move this up so you can see it. Four of Wands, Knight of Wands. What she's saying is the next level of this, if you take this advice, if you take this fortune on, you're going to learn that Queen of Wands energy, which works so well for you on almost solitary level, will work even better with others. Like you will never lose that leadership thing. You will be like the leader within a group. You will be the energy that takes things forward with the Knight of Wands. You take things from an early idea about what something should be through to the action, and you do it with others in harmony. And it's because you actually let go of the reins a bit of what you don't know. You go, it's okay because they've got my back and I've got theirs. So in fact, this will release even more creative energy for you, even more manifestation ability for you. And you will still retain, if there is this sort of there is a Wands energy or a very fiery energy person, whether that's strong in your chart or not, I'm not sure, but there is a very fiery energy. You do kind of need to lead. This is the thing that she's trying to talk to you about. You do kind of need to lead. What this also says is that you are first amongst equals, therefore you are the driving energetic force, the visionary and the driving force towards action within the group. Do not cede that. So this is also why she was saying if you do it, have the discernment. It's not that if you brought people together, you have somebody else suddenly become the visionary or somebody else suddenly become the creative action. You're that. It's what else, where do you not have the information? Where do you not have the skills? And how that actually creates more for you without diminishing your vision. So she's saying this to you because you have a lot of power and you can do a lot of things on your own, but you could actually do more with others. But it is important in this to take that advice, but not to cede your role. It is to find the other roles. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the other ways that we can look at your fortune. So she said, okay, well, we've got that. We may get some other stuff or we may get more on this, but that was a very strong message for you. Let's use the Lenormand, and I'm going to just get 2 cards for the immediate fortune energy and 2 cards for the longer term fortune energy. So the immediate, garden, oh, that makes sense. And rats, okay, oh, interesting, all right. And then the longer term, fox, rider. Okay, so I think a lot of this is connecting to the same message, but it could be around other things as well. Why I said that makes sense with the garden is the garden is the energy of connecting with others, going out to social events, meeting people. So there is definitely a sense of there are going to be opportunities to find the people to work with, opportunities just to have fun. Like there's also a sort of sense of enjoy yourself around other people. Not everything has to be sort of solitary and in manifestation. If you're looking for a heightened social life, it's a very good energy coming in. But with rats, this is interesting. And this, I think, is why she was saying there's a double-edged sword to her message. Her message is that you do need other people, but that message is also you have to be very discerning about who it is. So I think that, say you went to some sort of event and you were meeting people who had different sort of skills, it's really important to be discerning to make sure that it is the pieces of the jigsaw you don't have, not another version of you. Because if it's another version of you, it will eat away at it. If you genuinely say, I'm still going to be the creative energy of this, the inspiration of this, the sort of manifestation drive of this, but I want, the person who's technical over there, or the person who is sort of like touches the heart over there, or whatever it is that you need. It could be anything. That's what to do. But because you are, and this is the other thing as you say, your nature, and one of the reasons probably that you have done a lot on your own is you've probably experienced the situation before where you've had a vision and then other people have tried to come and take it. And she says, so that is still a risk, but it is using your discernment and you're more than able to do that. But I feel more like you are creating a team around you than you are. I mean, they're equals in the sense that they have things that they bring to the table that you don't have. So it's very important to respect the other people. But I feel like you're still kind of like the leader, the team lead, the project lead, that kind of energy. And if you are finding other people that are too like you, this energy could happen. Whether it's deliberate on their part or not, it's just a natural dynamic. So, if you think about a constellation of energies that come together to make something greater than any of them on their own can do. If there are two that are the same, it's a redundant energy or a potential competitive energy built into it. So I think there's something about that for you. In the longer term, you have the strategy and you need it. You do something about what you're doing does put you in either a political or sensitive sort of area, but you will get messages and information that helps you. Now, this could be your own seer-like ability. Pay attention to that. But it could also be that this is saying that at a point where you need to know what is really going on, that your guides or just the universe is looking after you to make sure you get the message. It may also say that in the longer term, so, if this was sort of the next, 3 to 6 months and this was the next year or more, there may be a very important message that you need to take a very strategic viewpoint to, because it will take you to the next level. It will do whatever it is, and they don't have to be the same thing. It doesn't have to be whatever this issue is that has come up first. It could be around a relationship. It could be around a business offer. It could be around anything really. But you are going to get an important communication that you need to apply that kind of strategy to, because there's something in your environment. This is probably why you tend to do things on your own that is very political or very competitive, and it's how you find the right people without getting into that balance. So she's saying, I can understand it more. The more I look at this, I can understand why you are probably resistant to having others around it, but this is a balance and you have the discernment to do it. Remember, you're a seer. Remember that you really can see things and trust that. Okay, so speaking of trusting it, let's bring the crystal ball out. Oops, just might put it here. I'm just going to see what I see. So what would she see for you? Something about the moon. Moon is very large. You may be very connected to the moon. That would make sense because if you're a seer, you could be connected to the Archangel Gabriel, to the lunar cycles. The moon is looming very large in the immediate future, almost to the point that it feels like it's coming down and touching the earth. So this is something about your emotional and spiritual understanding, connecting with material outcomes. But it's possible, I mean, if the moon is that large, it's possible that the emotional side of this could get in the way of your outcomes. So I think there is a bit of a warning. And it's interesting because the moon to me is showing almost like a face that wants to blow away the energy, wants to clear the energy for you. I do feel you have a very strong connection, say, to the Archangel Gabriel or to some entities or spirit guides that are about prophecy, and they're trying to clear the way for you. I also see a very strong spirit guide. It may be connected to the same thing or it may be different. They're coming up like almost a Merlin figure with a staff. They're coming towards you. I think they want to help. They want to help with that discernment, bringing the wisdom of the ages. This is a very transformative time for you. I see a butterfly. There's a very transformative energy for you. This is also why you have to be careful. You need to connect with others to make this occur, but you need to also make sure that it is your vision, it is your transformation. It's almost as though at its best, you get the people around you that will support what you're doing and bring it into an even better outcome. At its worst, it becomes something other than what it was supposed to be. The butterfly becomes a moth or something like that. I also see an olive branch. There may be people from the past that you've actually walked away from in this that you need to extend an olive branch to, because they may be the right people to help you. And I think it's called the Rook. I am not a chess person, but the one that looks like a castle or a turret of a castle, I see that. If I remember with chess, that can moving forward in a very determined way. It's a sense of both structurally solid things, but also this sense of forward momentum. Might be able to go sideways as well too. If you know anything about chess, then think about what that particular chess piece as being almost representative of you and what you need to do moving forward. Okay, so we'll move that to the side. Then she says, all right, we've got those. Let's have a look at the tokens. Let's draw some tokens and see what we have for you. Just in general, what else do we want to know? Okay, there's definitely a beware with the skull and crossbones there. There's definitely something to be aware of. It's like she's saying you have the ability to know and you do need to connect with others, but you do need to be careful. We have a lot of books here. Your own learning and knowledge is important. It may be, it was a book that I was talking about at the beginning. Maybe for some of you, this is absolutely about a book and it's about getting professional support, not someone to come in and ghostwrite or try and take over. Definitely. But there is sort of something around this. Your own learning, however, can help with this. There's a lot of, this is like the number 8. That's hard work and manifestation, definitely. But it's also the 8 ball is like a form of divination. It's another confirmation that you're a seer, that you actually do have a sense of this, definitely. And then we have a triangle. Okay, for some of you, she would say there may be, what this is a second person. It's not actually a group. I think that's what she would say. Try and avoid 3 people. It's either like have 4 or 2, because there's something about if there's 3 people in, although it's a very strong symbol, the triangle, it's like it becomes, I think that the danger comes in there at that point. And you need to hammer some of this out, hammer out the details with the hammer there. Plus, I feel like she would also say to you, knowledge rather than brute force. You don't need to like take a hammer to deal with it. This really, using your ability and your knowledge and understanding of this, you can deal with the threat that's associated with it. You don't need to take a hammer to kill an ant. It's relatively small once you realize that your own ability to do that is there. And as I say, it's almost a matter of numbers. It's like 2 or 4, not 3. There's something about that 2 or 4, not 3. That may not make sense right now. It may make sense later on. Okay, and then from that same, the telltale tokens thing, there's also just an astrology thing. But so before I throw the astro dice, I want to ask for these key messages. What is an astrology energy that you need to be really aware of? Scorpio, the Phoenix rising. So there is definitely the sense that whatever this is, you will rise above it. But with that energy, there is the potential for a struggle, particularly a spiritual struggle, a power struggle. So it's something like that. It could be that the person that you need has a Scorpio energy, but you're going to need to balance that if you're strongly Scorpio. Or it could be that you need to use Scorpio's discernment and real psychological understanding to deal with it. But I like the fact that Phoenix Rising suggests that whatever this is, you will be okay. It's just a matter of the outcome of something and the choices that are important. But it could, with Pluto and with Mars there, it could get a bit explosive. So it is important not to sort of let it sort of become that. It's like make the decision early on. Shouldn't be a power struggle. A power struggle that you've had in the past shouldn't stop you connecting with the right people. A power struggle right at the beginning of this is a sign to get out before it actually has that impact. So you are in a very volatile situation by the looks of things. But it's that's your energy draws that energy because it's a matter of power. So let's see with the astro dice just a couple of other energies to think about that are important. So we have the 8th house, so we have Scorpio energy again, Neptune, your psychic ability in the 8th house, and in Gemini, communicating that. Also 2 again, I feel like it's 2. I think it's one other person, whether it's in a relationship or whether it's something else. I think there's one other person that's key to this. I don't think it's like you don't need a crowd, but it's someone who has, can go deep, and you will know with your discernment and your scorpionic ability to read this. It is also about communicating some form of spiritual ideal or spiritual or occult energy. And one more roll. And the 8th house again. No wonder Scorpio came up. Virgo, which is the integration of energies. The moon, and the moon was really important. There's something actually here that this may be the clue, because you look very fiery. You're very solar energy, actually. I think you're very much the initiator, the driver forward, the fiery energy. And that's one of the reasons that you've been very powerful in what you do. You are needing to integrate through this connection the right moon energy. Now, for some of you, it may also be internal, the sun and moon balancing, but there is another person associated with this in some way. And it's a very, very karmic connection as well, too. So this is how you can have the discernment. And it's like, as I say, this is not to suddenly go and do all your manifestation by committee. You don't need a committee. You need one other person who has something you don't have. And that is the balance that's necessary. Okay, so now there's going to be a couple of yes-no questions. I should have said this in the introduction, but she says to you, you can think of something that has a very clear yes-no question, and I'm going to just flip this particular coin and we'll get the answer of yes or no. So it could be about what we've been talking about, or it could be other things. If you need to pause the video to think up your questions, that's fine, do that. But I'm going to flip it off camera so I don't smash the camera, and then I'll bring it forward to see what the answer is. So if you could think of your first question now. The answer is yes. Similarly, again, pause if you need to. Think of your second question. The answer is yes. So you've got a double yes, 2 yeses to whatever your questions were, pile 1. Okay, so last but not least, she says, I'm going to give you a sign to watch out for. This could be a synchronicity, it could be in a dream, it could be anything. And it's a sign that you are connecting to what this fortune is about, and connecting, I think, for you to the true discernment. In fact, it may be a sign to look out for once you've sort of done the kind of searching for this person and you're deciding if the person is right. that may be the sign that you need to be looking for. But as I say, it could come up in the world, it could come up in a dream, it could come up in a meditation. It could very well be a meditation actually with the card that you were drawn to. And that sign is bones. The past, secrets, yeah, there's a lot of scorpionic secrets energy about this, and it could be someone from your past coming through. Structure, foundation, and this is about the foundations of something. This is about the skeletal energy. This is about what can you really make of something. Core values. These are all signs also. Does the person seem to have the right past? Do they have the right knowledge? Are they going to help the foundation, the structure of what you do? And do you share core values? But you may very well dream about bones, meditate and see bones. There's something about this is all about the structure of something. This is why this is important, is that it is a very key thing to you getting a stable legacy out of whatever it is that you're trying to do. So I hope that your trip to the fortune teller was enlightening. You are someone who is already natural in this anyway, but I'm hoping that it was enlightening. I hope that it was helpful and you enjoyed it. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with rain, which to me suggests either a very strongly emotional energy, and I think there could be something associated with that, or a clearing away energy, and also a nourishment energy. So this is meant to almost be the doorway, and you're walking into the room. And as I said in the introduction, it's this sort of very spooky, gypsy-like room, for a way of describing it. But the energy that the fortune teller first feels when you walk in the room has to do with rain, has to do with the seduction energy, has to do with earth. So I feel as though there's a few things that she would say to you, or he would say to you very quickly. It would be that there is something very seductive either has already come into your life or is about to come into your life. This could easily be about a relationship, but it could also be about anything that would seduce you, an offer of some sort. Most likely passion and romance, but depends on where you are in your life. And this energy around you is that it's very important to clear the past, clear it all away with the rain, and nourish a solid foundation with earth for this, but also, as it says, utilizing logic, reason, and common sense. So at its best, this energy could be a beautiful new relationship coming in after a period of pain, and it's clearing the energy around so that you would see it as something good rather than maybe something that was painful in the past. At its most tricky, it could be some sort of like offer, seduction relationship that may be a little bit too good to be true. And so there is a kind of a clearing energy necessarily emotionally, and a kind of like, does this actually make sense? So it will depend very much on what the cards are saying. But the fortune teller says there is definitely an offer or an energy that's either coming in very soon if you haven't had it, or you're coming here because of that. If you're coming here because you wonder if it's true or not, you have all the answers really in terms of logic, but you need to clear the emotional side to look at it, and you'll know. And it could be either. But if it's something coming in and you've got a lot of history emotionally, this is the opportunity to clear that out and work out what you would want to manifest. So let's have a look at the short-term energy using the tarot. Four of Coins. Six of Coins reversed. Knight of Coins. Wow, this is something very material. This is why earth is so important. Maybe it's not about love. Maybe it's about business. Or it could be something where business, material things, and love are combined in some way. Nine of Cups. Oh no, there's the love, the wish. Four of Swords. Okay. So in the immediate future, I think for most of you, you won't know who this person is. It is coming in rather than you have it. Or if you do have someone in mind, it's really unclear, and it will be unclear for a while. What she would say to you is, right now what you need to focus on is, what would you want this to be long term that you would commit to? This is how you're going to be able to determine if it is something more than just a seduction and so forth, or get past the emotion and look at how you would want to ground it. And she says there's some very clear signs that will tell you one way or the other. One is, does this person seem to be committed to what they're doing, and do they take their time? If the seduction appears very quick, it seems to be like, oh, I love you, you're the only one, almost instantly. There could be a reason for being a little bit concerned about, does this happen with this person every few days? So it's like, again, using common sense. Do you talk about, you can certainly talk about a physical attraction, you can talk about what feels like a karmic connection, all of those things quite early in the piece. But, real love takes time. It takes time to get to know the person. So that's sort of a part of what will help you. Second bit will be, do you feel as though this feels like it's on a firm foundation? Are the actions that are coming from the other person or the offer that they're giving feel firm, feel sure? If they said, let's go out, do they turn up? All of those sort of things. Does this energy, if it's not about love and it's about some sort of business or creative thing, do they actually do the work? If they promise something, does it actually occur? Does the foundation seem to be there, or are you always having to kind of like pick it up and so forth? And thirdly, is this someone who you're an equal with? If this person is almost like acting like I'm the great Don Juan, I'm the great seducer and I've chosen you because you're so wonderful, but I'm choosing you and therefore I'm in control of this, then that's not the right energy. Again, if it's an energy of equals, like, this clicks, we fit, we're equal, we bring different things to the table, but we're equal. Those are all things that if you use logic and common sense will give you a sense about whether is this just a seduction or is it something more? And also, if you've been hurt in the past, like how you can clear away the emotion so you don't presume it's just a seduction when it may in fact be something more. She's saying there's a lot of promise to it, but you need to kind of almost come out of yourself. It's in action and in the material world, and what happens that you'll get the answer about whether this is the dream you want or not. It's not in contemplating it. You could sort of, even in coming to a fortune teller, she's saying, like, you can certainly get the energy around it, but at the end of the day, it's what's manifesting here, and you need to give it time, because that way you'll be able to work it out, whether it is actually the dream or not. So, and it's really interesting even how the Nine of Cups is shown here, because they are kind of cups on top of each other, but there's almost like a secondary image. Like when I look at that from a distance, it almost looks like coins stacked up. Now it isn't, but that's kind of what it looks like. So I just feel like there's a very material thing about this, and you've got to kind of see what manifests to know. And it's like clearing away the emotion that either makes you want to sort of jump straight in and commit instantly yourself when you're not sure if it's going to come back in your direction or not. And if it's some sort of business thing, it's like, what is this materially going to do? So there's a period of kind of slow down, watch it, and see what actually happens. Now, I often say we are not what we say, we are what we do. And, people can say all sorts of pretty words, but if their actions don't fit it, then that's an issue. However, if their actions do fit their words, if they're a person of few words and great action, then all of those things are very good. So then if that's the short term, which is kind of slow down, look at it, work out whether this is what you would want to commit to yourself and whether you feel that that's returned. What at the moment is the longer term fortune, which may connect to this, or that decision may be made and it may be some other fortune energy that comes up in the longer term. Page of Swords, Temperance reversed, Page of Wands reversed, Ace of Coins reversed, Strength reversed. I'm feeling, it's interesting that I said it may be something else. I'm feeling this is something else. I'm feeling that you would be saying in the short term, the real thing is around whether this offer is something you want or not. And almost agnostic to that, there's other issues that come in later on for you that in your fortune. There is some form of communication that is coming to you. Some sort of message, it could be an email, it could be a job offer, it could be something you read and it inspires something. And it's inviting you in the longer term to remember a creative dream or an ambition that you almost put to the side. It's a little bit discombobulating when it occurs because it's like you had put it to the side. So there's something, I think there's an opportunity. This feels more like creative or career or something like that. This is an opportunity that's coming in longer term, and it will be at first like, oh wow, can I do that? Can I? But it's got a lot of blessing. You've just got to start to make it happen. With the Ace of Coins reversed, it's not something that you will have started on. It's something that comes out of the blue. It could be an inspiration that comes to you sort of internally, or it could be, as I say, a message. It has huge potential, but you may doubt whether you have the strength to do it because you've kind of submerged your own ambition. So that's interesting. So I think the rain fits with that as well too. You've got to clear away the things that kind of have distorted your view or made it emotional. It's like, it's almost as though it's something, if you were to now say, what is a deep, deep thing that I always really wanted to do, I always wanted to create, or a way that I wanted to present myself or something like that, you are going to get a communication that gives you that offer. And at first you're not going to be sure, but there's a huge amount of energy that could work for you. So she's saying that if you know that's coming now, really start to meditate on that and think about that, because then you can be more ready when the opportunity comes through. She says it's different. It's different to this. It could come as a result of this. If this is sort of a relationship, then the connections and networks may bring it about. But she's saying, I don't think that it has to be related to that. This is more, you need to make a choice very immediately about some sort of very seductive offer. This is something different. This is a communication that is about something very key to you that you've hidden away, but you're not meant to hide it away anymore. So given that, what is unconscious around this that you need to know to help with perhaps both the short and the long-term fortunes that we're seeing here? The Star reversed, the Three of Wands, the Eight of Cups reversed, the High Priestess. Okay. Firstly, you have hidden your star. You have hidden your light under a bushel, as I've said a number of times in readings. Like, you don't realize how much you've done that. It's almost as though that, and that's the key thing in both of these, to really step back and think about what is your life path and what would you really want to do. Because you had the wherewithal to make a decision in this early thing about whether this relationship or connection is going to take you there or not, but you've almost underestimated your ability to do it. And similarly, when this opportunity comes in, it's like you do need to know how much you've hidden your own star. This is also why this is so important, the Six of Coins, around the relationship. It needs to be, if it is a relationship, or whether it's love or some other thing, it needs to be of equals, because you are not meant to, at the moment, be looking at something where you're subservient to others. You are meant to be seeing what your direction is. And the first way that you get to really kind of flex that muscle is around determining whether a relationship or offer that's coming to you is right. In the longer term, it's to take that strength, to not hide it away, and to pursue what your North Star is. And you really do have the energy to do it, and you do have the vision to do it. But you are holding on to some emotional disappointments too much, and it's clouding your own spiritual ability to see it. So she's saying it's almost as though there's something that comes in the very near future to allow you to, as I say, test out your discernment, and you will do well with that. And it's about what you can manifest and bring into the world. And it's kind of meant to be a dress rehearsal for you then. And this isn't necessarily around a relationship. I think this is more around a career, vocation, creative thing. You then actually say, when the opportunity comes, when the message comes, you don't step back from it. Right now, the energy would be you would step back from it. But because of the short-term energy here, and even this reading, the power of this reading and starting to believe in your own vision, you can move forward with it. Okay, so then she says, let's have a look at some other ways of defining your future. So let's get Lenormand a couple of cards for the immediate future and a couple of cards for the longer term. And I do think, as I say, for you, while there's a subtext under all this about you following your own North Star, they are two different things. So the first energies around the immediate future in terms of fortune. Ring, yeah, it's definitely likely to be around a relationship. And owls, okay. So it kind of has a double meaning for the Lenormand in this particular deck. Firstly, there is a potential relationship here, and it has a lot of promise for commitment. If you see that, that's fine. Owls are the birds. Now, birds in traditional Lenormand show that there can be gossip. So there could be an issue here around, is there gossip? Is it really? And this may be part of a discernment as well too. Is this sort of someone who the minute they meet you, they're putting everything up on all their social media and talking about you and everybody's talking about it? That might be a bit of a sign to be careful. On the other hand, if this is something that is very stable and you're moving towards it, there may be a bit of gossip. It's like, but it doesn't matter because this is a really strong card. This is a really strong sense of connection. But I also think because they use the owls in this, it is saying that there is wisdom. There is wisdom that you can bring to this. If you clear away the energy and you just use common sense and wisdom, you will deal with whatever this is. It may also be that part of what you have to clear away from the past was where you were in a relationship or something like that and people gossiped about it and it had a bad effect. So you're kind of like, oh, will that happen again? Then the longer term fortune, crossroad, there's a choice. Yeah, you really do reach a point where you can make a real choice about moving forward. And fox, you need to be strategic about it. You need to make a strategic decision, but also be aware there could be people that like it that you don't fully follow your North Star. They might like to feel superior or something like that. There could be some people not to trust. It's not as much as getting the snake there, but nevertheless, they make sure that you're making the decision rather than letting other people make the decision. In fact, I'm almost getting the feeling, because the crossroad is here and the fox is looking that way, is that like make this decision without reference to anybody else, apart from maybe a partner if you're with a partner, because it's like while other people aren't looking, this opportunity occurs for you. So that would suggest that some of your lack of maybe feeling you can do something has been a little bit manipulated on you. So you need to or gaslit on you. So it's taking the choice to say, no, I'm going in my own direction. Okay, so let's also use the tokens. Actually, no, before that, we're going to use the crystal ball. So I'm just going to see what I see for you there. There's a wall, okay? This is the wall that you have up. I'm sort of feeling like the wall in Game of Thrones, but I feel like it's kind of a wall of ice, and this is the rain. See, rain can melt the ice, particularly with the sort of warmth of creativity in the sun as well. I feel like you have a wall, an inner wall that needs to be melted away so that you can sort of see clearly. I see you sitting and contemplating. I see you sitting sort of like leaning over. Maybe I actually see you looking, there's something, you're looking at a computer, you're looking at a laptop or a PC or something. You're leaning over and you've got your hand on your chin, like you're really deeply contemplating something. I think this is around a message. I think that there is this is a surprise, and it really makes you stop and contemplate and go within. So I feel like that's showing that. I think it's going to come through electronic media. I mean, I suppose a lot of things do these days anyway. A bow and arrow, this is like it's about focus, it's about direction for you. All of this is about direction. Okay, I see a goat, so I'm wondering whether Capricorn is important in some way. And there's also goat as in greatest of all time. This may be you need to understand, particularly if there is sort of like people who are gossiping or who are trying to kind of gaslight you. It could be because there is something about your dream that you are the best at this. And this is inviting you to see that, to be the goat, to be the greatest of all time at something. Seeing a face of someone looking at you too, I feel. And a child. So I'm feeling as though there's almost a teacher element. There could be a teacher coming in, but I feel like it's almost like it flips on itself. There's someone who kind of teaches you something and then they're almost a child to you and you teach them. This is the sense of that being equal. Okay. But that goat's interesting. As I say, it could be Capricorn, but otherwise it's like don't underestimate yourself. That's a very big message here. Okay, let's get the tokens and see what they tell us. Oh, got quite a few. We've got a pen writing something. I think this is a communication. Communications is very important. And an octopus. That's interesting. An octopus keeps turning up in things that like are very spiritual. So there's something very spiritual about this. It's also in the emotional realm because octopuses are in the sea. I'm feeling also like it has like, they normally have eight sort of like arms, I think, octopus, or octopi. So I think there might be sort of something about manifestation, hard work, financial reward. We have Virgo. So Virgo could be an important sign. You could have it strongly in your astrology chart, or it could be about integration of a multitude of talents to write something or create something or communicate something. This looks like, a court of law or something like that to me. So there could be sort of legal things associated with this. Here, the rain again. There's definitely a sense of clearing things away so that you can get to this. Okay, this is like a projector. So it's something dramatic. And the hair. Oh, okay. So what I'm getting from this is there's kind of a follow the white rabbit. There's kind of there's a story arc to this. You need to understand yourself within a story arc and sort of as the hero quest. And that you will, deal with gossip. You will deal with sort of people who are trying to take you off the path. And that there's something about this relationship coming in that proves to you, future proves past sort of thing. There's something that proves to you that you are able to sort of be more daring. You're able to go into what you want. You can clear the energy. You can integrate these energies. I do feel if this is around a relationship, if you feel it fits what you're looking for, you're likely to get married or at the very least move in together. But there might also be a contract or something else that brings this all together through communication that takes you forward. Okay, then let's see, associated with that, with this particular set of tokens, there was also a little mini card set just of the astrology signs that were sent. So before we use the astro dice, I'm just going to draw something for what is a particularly strong astrological sign energy. Now we already have Virgo there. What else do we have? Taurus. So yes, very much. This is why this is like the earth energy. What is the life you want to create? This is what's at stake here. So it also says an eye for beauty. So I feel like you knowing the beauty within yourself, reclaiming that, possibly through a relationship and then sort of moving forward. But Taurus is the good life. Taurus is the second house. Taurus is creating in the world what you want and like claiming it, rather than feeling like you shouldn't do it for whatever reason. So this is why we have the earth. There's a lot of material stuff around this. Let's just roll the astro dice 2 times for some other information for you. So we have the south node, something that you're moving away from, a relationship energy that you're moving away from to one that is more passionate, more free, more aligned with your values and so forth with Sagittarius. So this is the rain energy. This is clearing old emotional patterns, whether it's around love or whether it's around other relationships. It's clearing the way so that you can move forward and have the freedom to do that. And fourth house, who you are at home, your home life. Okay, Virgo. There's an integration of all of this into your home and into your core being, Saturn, and the construction of something that lasts. See, people worry about Saturn, but Saturn is actually something that structures and lasts. This is also very earthy. It's the sense of like what can you create that's a legacy and so forth. This is integrating all of this for something that will last and something which is core to who you are with the fourth house. So this is really both through a relationship and then longer term through you claiming your North Star. This is you claiming who you are and manifesting it. This is what this fortune is about, pile 2. Okay. So what she says now is you can ask a couple of yes/no questions. So I'm using a coin. It's as simple as that. So it's just very clear. Think about very clear yes/no questions. It could be related to this fortune. It could be related to something else. If you need to pause the video to come up with each of them, do that. But I'm going to flip the coin off camera because otherwise I could smash the camera and then I'll bring forward to show what the answer is. So right now I'm flipping for your first question, pile 2. And the answer is no. Now think about your second question. Pause again if you need to. I'm flipping for that. And the answer is no. So you have 2 no's. Doesn't mean it's sort of bad or whatever. If you wanted a yes, then maybe some of the answers into how to make things a yes are in the reading more generally. Okay, to finish off, she says, I'm going to give you a sign, like a synchronicity or something that might turn up in a dream, or something that you could see in a meditation that tells you that you're really taking on the advice of this fortune and you're heading towards what you're meant to be, what you're meant to get out of this. You're heading towards manifesting the life that you want, the relationship you want, all of those sort of things. So the sign for you, wow, is video games. See, there's something about electronic stuff, and like the movie, there's something here about you almost writing your own script, writing your own movie and then believing in it. Skills, abilities, problem-solving, tests, challenges. It is saying that as you do this, there will be challenges and there will be tests to do it, but it's like you are in charge of it. You are holding the monitor. This is why I was sort of seeing you, like looking at the screen. There may in fact even be a video game that is that you could really relate to the main character with or something. Pay attention to that because it's a message coming to you. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed your trip to the fortune teller. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with intoxication, which is this very intriguing energy to be sort of the first thing that the fortune teller picks up around your fortune when you walk through the door. What we also have here is the caduceus, you will receive news from afar, and the wolf, beware who you trust. So I think that the first thing that the fortune teller feels when you come through the door, or he feels when you come through the door, is that something is coming to you, if it hasn't already, that is a surprising piece of news, or a piece of news that provides for a very exciting thing, something that could be very intoxicating, something that could be very uplifting. Could be around a relationship. It could be potentially someone coming back, I'm getting, that is really exciting because they've been in no contact and it's a very powerful attraction. Or it could be someone new that's coming in and there's just something that is really riveting about it if it's about love. But it could be about anything. It could be about a career opportunity. It could be a new spiritual teacher, whatever it is. The thing, though, that she's saying is that it is so exciting and so intoxicating that it may blur your sight a bit. You need to be very careful. It doesn't necessarily mean that the news comes from someone you can't trust, but you are going to be, if you get intoxicated and drawn into this, you have to be very careful who you trust. And even if the first person who spoke to you or the relationship is okay, there could be other factors. So this is a very enticing, intoxicating, almost overwhelming thing. It could be, if it was a spiritual thing, you could think, I finally found my spiritual family, I found my soul twin, I found my twin flame, or whatever it is. And there's something about this. She says you need to be careful. For some of you, it could be that you're already in that state and you're hearing something, and it could take you out of that intoxication, or could take you further into it. And this again, can you trust the information that's coming, or do or is it somebody that you're around that you can't trust? But there is definitely something here. She's saying that this is very, very deep stuff for you. It really is enticing, but it's like, can you trust it? Or if someone is telling you you're following this and it's a chimera and you're in a cult or something, and like, let's face it, people say that even about political views at the moment, then is the news right, or is it in fact not right, and that you're right to be sort of entranced in this because you found the right thing? So let's see what we get. Let's see what she would get tarot-wise for you around your immediate future, because I think she would say to you, this is a very heady thing, and it could be fine, but you're not seeing it clearly. And as a result, you really need to get some information now and come out of the intoxication enough to be sure about, is it real? Or if somebody is telling you that it isn't, are they to be trusted? So in the immediate future, justice. The Lovers reversed. The Tower. Wow, this is big. Whatever this is big. No wonder you've got intoxication. The Sun reversed. Oh, my goodness. The Queen of Cups reversed. All right. I'm going to say that she would say the most likely thing is that you are caught up in something that is not what it appears. But it's really full on. So if it is something like you feel like a twin flame, it could be that. The Tower is a very intense relationship. But what tends to happen with those sort of relationships is there's a lot of vulnerabilities or whatever. So the thing that could be intoxicating is that you could fall in love with the pain. And that's not going to help you resolve it. There's definitely something about at least one connection you can't really trust. And that connection eats away at the foundations of your own sense of self. It's like giving yourself up to something. And it's not right for you to do that. If this is an important relationship, the relationship might be okay, but it like the patterning of it at the moment is not good. You need to keep your mind very clear on this. You need to think about what is balanced. But for some of you, they were saying that these days, both sides in politics tends to accuse the other side of being in a cult. So it's sort of like, maybe it's true of both sides. Maybe it's also a slur that is said. So it is possible that there is almost an outside energy around a cause or something. If this isn't a love relationship, you may have very strong political views, very strong social views. And you may come from a place of wanting great justice. But there's something in this that isn't what it appears. Either the attack on it isn't what it appears and you have to deal with it in a different way, or you have become intoxicated. So in the short term, the issue for you is, it's like she's saying, your mind can do this. You've got to kind of clear it, because your mind is the way that will bring this into balance. You actually have a very balanced mind. This is affecting your heart. This is affecting your sense of your life purpose. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And the Tower can be a very good energy to clear everything away. So there is certainly an opportunity that if the smoke in the eyes there is the smoke from the Tower burning, once the Tower is burnt out, then you can see more clearly. There may be a sort of need to just stop doing anything. Don't commit any further. Don't move away. Wait till you see what occurs. But there is definitely a risk at the moment for you, Pile 3, of something being so intoxicating that it's taking you away from who your true heart and your true purpose is in some way. So, okay, that's the short term. Like, there's a lot happening in the short term. I mean, I guess the good news is that, like, probably a lot gets cleared. The longer term may not have to do with this if you work with this energy, or it could be a longer term outcome of working or failing to work with this energy. So let's see what we get. The Hierophant, Death card, Ace of Coins reversed, Eight of Cups reversed, Ten of Coins reversed. Look, something has to shift, actually. This is really clear. Like, so if you are intoxicated by something at the moment, I think she would be saying to you, you need to kind of clear your mind and really be sure about this, because at the moment, even if it was something that has promise, it's not having a good impact on you. It's overwhelming you. It's taking you away from your life path. It's confusing your emotional life. It's bringing you into conflict or into pain in some way. You're constantly wondering about the stability of whatever this thing is. You can bring it into being. But in the longer term, there is something that you have to let go of. Now, whether it's it or whether, if you have found, like, say for argument's sake, because for some of you, this may not be that you found a chimera. You might not have found something that's untrue. You might have finally found what is true to you, and you're now dealing with the fallout from everybody around you. If that's the case, then you have to move away from those who can't be on the path with you. So you have to be very honest with yourself about this. Are you intoxicated by something you don't fully understand and you're almost sacrificing yourself to it, in which case you need to leave it? And I'll talk about why. If this is in intoxication of a true spiritual enlightenment or a true personality sort of growth or a true love or whatever it is, and other people are working against it, then you have to let go. So it just depends. But in the longer term, this is saying that there is with justice and with the Hierophant, there's something about this that is it is spiritual and it's sort of like logical as well, but there is something that has to do with where you fit in. Like, what system do you fit in with? What are your beliefs? And like, if there's justice, what's the core belief? What's the system that you operate with? That's why for some of you, this could be kind of political, in which case you've got caught up in all the storm and drama around it as opposed to what's really going on. But at the end, you have to make a commitment to a side, if that's the case. If it's around, spirituality or a relationship, you have to make a decision about whether this is going to exist in an environment and a belief structure that aligns with who you are. And that is a decision only you can make. You shouldn't be even influenced by the other person. You need to make that decision. Does this fit my world or not, in a way that I'm happy? It may be I have to leave my old world and go to another one, but that world actually fits me more. But whatever it is, that's the issue, because there is some great potential that can't be born until you do that. So whatever this is, whatever has probably kind of intoxicated you, is either taking you away from your true potential or it's taking you towards it. But there is a shift, a change, and a letting go that is necessary. Okay, so what is unconscious for you in this? This is big. Like, there's a lot of major arcana cards here. This is a big thing. But I guess, intoxication is a big energy. So, High Priestess reversed, 5 of Swords, 9 of Coins reversed, Knight of Swords reversed. Okay, yeah. You're not listening to your inner knowing at the moment. You're just not. So this is something you need to walk away from energies that are taking away both from your inner intellect and also your inner knowing. That you've kind of given yourself up to a group or some other sort of force in the connection of somebody as opposed to being alone. It's saying slow down and rethink this. You've got to come off the high and really work out what this is for you, because at the moment you're not even necessarily seeing that. You're thinking it's the rational thing to do. You're thinking, this is the right thing to do, and I'm connecting with others. And it could even be, that you sort of found some sort of reader or some sort of thing, and you think that what they say is right, and I just follow that. But you've actually abrogated your own inner knowing if you do that. So there's something really powerful around this. Is just slow down. You really can reconnect with that and know what to stay with and what to walk away from. But at the moment, it's very unconscious for you because you're kind of enraptured. And if it hasn't already happened, it's coming. So when you feel that, understand that's the energy that you've got. You've got to kind of be practical about it as well and really discern, because this is powerful stuff spiritually or emotionally. Like if this is a relationship, it's a very powerful relationship, but whether it's one that's going to work for you or not, it's another matter, even if it's a twin flame or something like that. Okay, so let's get some other ways of looking at this. So she says we're going to use the Lenormand. We're going to get a couple of cards for the immediate energy, which is powerful, and then the longer term, which is powerful in its own way as well, but is a little bit more, I think, once you kind of take control and make your own decisions. Whereas I think you're enraptured, so to speak, at the beginning. So what's the immediate fortune energy? Child, something new, something has a lot of potential, but it is a kind of innocence. There's a sort of innocence energy to this. And fishes, I see, it seems so good. And it might be okay, but it's like you really do need to stop. Fishes are usually good fortune. There's good fortune around this. It's like almost like at the beginning it has a very good return and it seems innocent, but there's more going on with this, so I'm going to say. It could also be saying that in the midst of all of this could be the innocence of what you're doing. Other things are probably working out fine in your life. It's just this one thing. So in most things you're drawing in your manifestation, you're doing well, all of that kind of thing. If this is an offer, like kind of work or something like that, you'd be paid a lot of money, but it's like, what is the cost of it? And this is of all three of them. This is the one that has the sort of really most serious overtones. There's I think of being really cautious about this because it appears really good, and it might be, but you've got to be sure. So the longer term, where you have to make a decision about all of that kind of energy and really who you're around and all that sort of thing, is it really fitting in the structure of your values, your core values and beliefs is what you've really got to kind of come down to earth and look at. We have Fox. Fox has turned up in the future for every single one, I think. So there's sort of something about you need to be careful. There could be people, you need to be strategic and careful, and that's good. But there are people who are potentially also being that around you, and you need to be aware of what their motives are. And side, there's something that you need to leave and let go of, whether it is the intoxicating thing or whether it is those that were pulling you away from something that is your true destination. But you do, and you've got to go within and work it out because there are too many people trying to influence you at the moment. Okay, so let's have a look with the crystal ball. Let's see what we get there. First thing I see is a heart. For a lot of you, this is about love in some way, or the heart is really important. I think the fish, because I'm seeing the fish again here, I'm feeling Pisces may be important. And I'm feeling like the eyes of the fish are like there's the two fish and their eyes are looking very closely at each other. I'm seeing it here as well. This is two people or two energies really checking each other out. So while you're looking into somebody and something, they're looking into you. That could be fine, or it could be something to be wary of. There's a cat energy around you too. I mean, you may literally have a cat. Otherwise, there could be like a cat entity or whatever is bringing you that kind of sense of flexibility and fluidity and wisdom, which is good. The cat becomes a lion too. Okay, this is about you coming into your own strength, going from the child to the grown-up. So whatever this is actually, it will be okay. It's just, well, it'll be okay as long as you properly look at it and you don't get carried away. I feel like there's like, it looks like celebration, looks like all those things. It's very intoxicating. X marks the spot. Okay, some of you, it might be some sort of message that comes over X if you're on X, but otherwise X marks the spot. This is a very important point. It's a decision making. It's a crossroads for you. I'm seeing something that looks a bit like, looks like Taurus. So we've had Pisces. Taurus is important, but it almost, okay, I'm going to say it almost looks like the figure of Moloch. So this is something about, and this is not to say that it's as dark as all of that, but it's like, don't sacrifice your innocence for this, I think is what that's saying. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that was probably the most important message, actually. Don't sacrifice your innocence for the rapture of whatever this is. Okay, let's get you some tokens as well. See what else we can see. Oh, we've got quite a few. Okay. The Omega symbol. There's something very big about this. There's something that's the Alpha and the Omega. This is the kind of culmination of something. Sagittarius is important potentially. Freedom is important with this. Rocket, yeah, like it's so fast. It's so intoxicating. It's so big. It's like, this is it. This is the thing. And it could be. Like, I feel, because it very much depends. This is a collective reading. For some of you, it could be right, and the issue might be not being pulled away from it by others who want to sort of stop you from ascending to whatever this is. But for others, you have to be very careful. Is it all happening too fast? We've got glasses. Look at it very carefully. Examine it carefully. You do have an ability. We've got the 8-ball here, which is a kind of like the form of divination. You do have the ability to really work out whether this is good or bad. You have the vision to do it. You have your own seer-like vision that can help you with this. But we have the rabbit, and I feel like this is a bit like, the rabbit in Alice in Wonderland. It's like, what rabbit are you following? Like, is it the right one? Is it going to take you where you are supposed to go? And for some, it will. Oh God, then we've got the genie's lamp. This is answering a wish, or it feels like it's answering a wish. And we've got a monkey, or what looks like a monkey. Monkeys are very flexible. They can move very quickly. They can go very high, but they can be mischievous as well. So it's almost like a mischievous genie, a jinn or something like that. In fact, now this has fallen in a particular way. It's telling you what this is, and whether this is a relationship or something that is sort of spiritual, or whether it's an offer or something. It is saying right in the middle, you have the vision to be able to work this out. For some of you, this is going to be a mischievous misleading from a genie that offers something that is not going to come into being. For some of you, it is a culmination of something. It is the next stage for you. It is a freedom and a liberation. That's what you've got to work out. It could go either way. And you have the capacity, if you're really honest with yourself and you kind of come out of the intoxication and look at it, you'll be able to work out which it is. Okay. So what also came with the telltale tokens was just each astrology sign. So I just want to see a very key astrology sign for you around this energy before we use the astro dice for a bit more nuanced information. Well, that's interesting. Instead of a sign, we've got we are stardust. Okay, I think this is connecting. It's pointing more to this than to this, but it is to be careful of this because I feel like going to the stars. There's sort of also something like going back to the beginning, going back to something that really mattered in the past, going back to the core principles of who you are. That's the way you're going to work this out. Because in a sense, when we have the omega, the ending of something, they say that we're all made of stardust. So when a star died, we came into being. So there's sort of like, there's something very, very deeply spiritual about it. Okay, I didn't know that card was there. So that's interesting. And again, we've got the eyes, you can see, with glasses to get rid of the thing that's stopping the fog. So let's get like a couple of rolls of the astro dice for some other information. So we have the 10th house, who you are in the world. Aries, something new, your direction, your ambition. With Mars, action. This will call action. It will call to action. For many of you, I do think for many of you it's a relationship, but for some of you it's going to be around career or something like that. Definitely it's out in the world though. And we have the 11th house, the connections with others, social media, friendships, sun, where you find yourself, who you really are. Scorpio, going deep into that, really forensically looking at this. Is this the right people to be around? Am I getting the right message? Can I trust what I'm hearing? Is it real? Scorpio will help you see that. And it's connected to this really, does this really fit your life path? Okay, so now she says you can ask a couple of yes/no questions. So if you need to pause to think what they are, that's fine. They could come naturally off this, but if you need to pause each time, that's fine. I'm just going to toss a coin. I'll do it off camera because I could smash the camera otherwise. So for pile 3, your first question, the answer to your first question is yes. Okay. And then the answer to your second question is yes. So you have 2 affirmative answers. Don't know whether that's what you wanted or not, but it's meant to sort of just give you a very blunt answer, and you can work with that in terms of whatever you want. So she says, okay, to finish up pile 3, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a sign which you may see in dreams, you may see synchronistically in the world, you may see it in meditation or something like that. But it's a sign that you're really starting, I think, in this one, that you're starting to clear the air, come out of the intoxication and really understand what you're dealing with. What is a sign when you're there? Reaching, taking action, holding, embracing, boundaries, flexibility. Well, a lot of it will be around what boundaries you are and who do you want to shake hands with, who do you want to embrace, all of that kind of thing. But an the sort of sense of reaching out, either to somebody to help take you out of an illusion or a delusion, or somebody to connect it more once you've said this is something I feel I can solidly commit to. That's part of it. So pay attention to that. You may see people sort of showing like clothing with these sort of arms held out. You may see people shaking hands. You may dream of something like that. You may even feel it, like you may feel like an instinct to hold out your hand to someone. Pay attention to that. That's part of your inner knowing and discernment operating. So it's fairly big and it's a bit tricky, this one, I have to say, pile 3, but nevertheless has a lot of promise if you've sort of worked it through. You either escape something you shouldn't be in, or you really claim something that is right for you. So you will know at the end of this. Just be aware of all the issues and really try and work out, is this taking you to the stars, or is it taking you down a rabbit hole? That's really the question. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.